Hello, everyone. Let's just settle in. Say hello. How have you been? Feel free to use the chat. How has your week? Week. How has your week been? Hi. Amazing. We have one more day before the work week ends for those who are working. So let's give it another minute for people to join in and just settle in. And we can begin in a bit. If you have your candles with you, make sure you have your journals, your smudge sticks. If you want to cleanse, we went through that last circle. So if you want to clear away energies, to the left. And then when you want to receive and charge, to the right. Good. Karina, is it you? Or princess? Princess.
All right. Good evening, everyone, and welcome back. Thank you for meeting us again on this beautiful Thursday evening. It's very special for not just to me, but also for Karina because, um, as we mentioned earlier in our Instagram live, it's Mahashivratri, which is actually a day and night of celebration for the Lord Shiva, and we're gonna talk about that later. Right now, we're gonna open the ceremony with cacao, but before we do so, I'd like you to have your journal right next to you. Please have a sheet, a clean, beautiful sheet ready. We're gonna use that. And also, like Thea mentioned earlier, let's start by coming into this circle with either smudging or just having a feeling of being cleansed as we enter this ceremony. If you are not into smudging, you can also just simply light a white candle and keep that on for the rest of the ceremony. We cleanse this space with any negative energy, with anything that is no longer serving us. And we open this space to welcome light into our lives and into this ceremony. Only light can enter. This space is now open. It is open with love and light. Now, please bring your cups right next to you, or any, doesn't have to be cacao, any ceremonial drink is okay. Bring the cup closer to your heart. You may close the eyes, having and holding that feeling of gratitude. Gratitude towards Mother Earth, who gives us everything that we need. Gratitude to our ancestors, our spirit guides. Gratitude to the land and to all the living beings who are here with us, supporting us in our journey. Raising the hand up in front of your head. May we see and we know the true meaning of light and love. Bring the hands down towards the ground, connecting with the earth's energy, offering this beautiful plant and offering a part of ourselves to the earth. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Now bringing the cup closer to your mouth, engaging the sense of smell, taking a deep breath in, and as we breathe out, we whisper the names of our loved ones. Breathing in, exhale, whispering the names of everyone we'd like to share love and light, healing. Another breath in. And as we breathe out, we call our names, ourselves back into being, to here and now. Now you may take a sip. May this beautiful plant medicine nourish us, and may it help us reveal the truth within us. You may slowly open your eyes. Welcome to the circle. Thea, I'm looking for. Can we fix the speaker view? I think it's stuck somewhere. Or my.
You
You see?
can.
Okay. All right. So as I mentioned earlier, today is the day of Shiva, or we call it the Mahashivratri. And so Karina is going to share what that's all about. And we're going to devote half of our time for tonight's circle to uh, devotion to the great guru. Karina?
Sure. Hello, everybody. I hope you've had a nice day. We have a pretty incredible aspect in the sky today, and that's actually what I want to open with because it flows pretty amazingly with Shivratri, which I'll explain more about what it is. But tonight or today, the sun is conjunct Neptune. This means the sun is right beside Neptune. The sun is our overall personality, who we present ourselves as in the world, what we radiate into this life. And Neptune is the planet of spirituality. It's the planet of devotion. It's the planet also sometimes of illusion. So it's like illusion or disillusion. And so this kind of brings us a really big opportunity, which is interesting because this opportunity is only half of the equation, because the other half of the equation is everything I'm about to get into. So let's do it. Who is Shiva? So Shiva is basically known as um, he's called the Adi Yogi, and Adi means first. So he's like the Adi Yogi and the Adi Guru. So the first yogi and the first guru. And so it is basically through Shiva that we even know what yoga is. Shiva, I don't want to say that he's a god, but he is a can say I don't want to say he is a god, but he is a god. He is an enlightened being. Okay, he's one of the most enlightened beings. According to Hindu literature, nobody has seen anybody as enlightened as him. And it's interesting because there is no record of like when he was born, who his parents are, where he was located, anything like that. So then come the questions of like, is he extraterrestrial? Is he? Nobody knows. But so these are all the possibilities. So as the Adi Yogi, or to become the Adi Yogi, actually, let's talk about. Sorry, I'm trying to reel it in and see where it wants to take us. I'm actually going to start with Shivratri. Okay, so today is an event called Mahashivratri, which means big Shivratri, like the main Shivratri. And so Shivratri actually happens every single month, and it is the last day before the new moon. So it is when the sky is almost like without a moon. It is at the end of each cycle. And interestingly enough, Shiva is also known as the Lord of Destruction. Destruction of that which doesn't work anymore. So, as in Christianity, we have the Father, Son, the Holy Spirit, the Trinity. In Hinduism, we also have a Trinity, which is Brahma, Shiva, and Vishnu. Brahma is the creator, Vishnu is the preserver, and Shiva is the destroyer. He destroys that which no longer serves or that which no longer fits. So we have a Shivratri every year, but I mean every month, but every year there is one main Shivratri, and today is the day for that. So what does it mean? What are we celebrating when we celebrate Shivratri? For a lot of people, it's a lot of different things, but ultimately, um, Shiva was a yogi, and he would meditate on this mountain called Mount Kailash, and so he would meditate for millennia until this day was the day that he finally was as still as the mountain. He did not move. He was completely transcended from his body. And this is the same day that his third eye opened and that he became like prime with perception about anything in the world past his physical body, his physical being. That's one thought. The other thought is that it's the wedding anniversary of Shiva and Parvati, who you guys may know as Shakti, who is the feminine energy. And so these are two different, I say, ideas of what it could be that we're celebrating, because when religion comes to play, everybody has their own ideas or explanations of what exactly we're celebrating. But there's also a scientific side to this. So it's not all religion. What it is also is today, the planet Earth is situated in such a way that there is an upsurge of energy in the human body. And this usually happens at the beginning of spring. So it's usually either February or March. It is today. And so the belief is that, or the belief, or if you want to take it as a belief or as a suggestion, is that you sit up straight with your back straight the whole night. You don't sleep. You don't go horizontal, and you stay vertical because there is an upsurge of energy. And so the advantage here is for people that are spiritual, that are practicing all of this. It's like the universe is giving us an extra push for this upward energy. It's the entire solar system that's bringing this upward energy. So it's kind of like, do we want to take advantage of it or make use of it? And I know that staying up all night is pretty crazy. And so we don't necessarily have to do that. But it's just an idea of like what we're celebrating. So Shiva, as the Adi Yogi, is the main yogi, first one that learned yoga rather, and he has taught the people yoga. But the only way he decided to finally teach yoga is because of his wife Parvati, or Shakti, which, when you think about it, that's pretty interesting, because the feminine is the creative one. The feminine is the one that likes to play. The feminine is the one that will like shine the light on the witness, to be like, share it with other people, share it with more people, like this is your gift. Shiva in himself, he's just a witness. He's just like, I perceive everything. I am a part of everything, kind of just dissolving all the boundaries and barriers that exist. And so I want to tell you guys a story about Shiva and one of his devotees. And I found this quite an interesting and funny story. I'm wondering if you guys will too. But so Shiva had a really, really strong devotee that would start every day by going to Shiva and making 3 rounds around Shiva. So he would do this every morning. That was his routine. And he was like super devoted to Shiva, completely in awe of Shiva, all of this. Now, every time he would do that, Parvati, who is Shiva's wife, would be there. Naturally, Parvati is just as enlightened as Shiva is, but this devotee refused to go around Parvati and Shiva and only wanted to go around Shiva. And you know how, like, I want to say, you know how we are sometimes when like we get jealous, or like when we see, like when we get fiery, like, hey, that's my man, right? So Parvati was like, all right, that's my man. I'm just as enlightened as he is. Why can't I be there? And why can't he make those rounds around me too? So one day, Shiva was sitting there, Parvati came and sat beside him, and this devotee came to make rounds around Shiva. Parvati refused to move. The devotee was like, please move. I want to go around only Shiva. And Parvati was like, what's the problem? I want you to go around both of us. He refused. So this devotee, stay with me here though, because this is a myth, right? And folklore. But so this devotee turned himself into a mouse. He turned himself into a mouse because they were sitting so close to each other, but he could only walk around Shiva's feet without walking around Parvati's feet. It only infuriated her more. And Shiva was really amazed to see, like, what levels would this devotee go for him? And so Shiva then got Parvati and put her on his lap. Okay. So then they're like, okay, what's he going to do now? The devotee turned himself into a bird and started flying only around Shiva's head. So then they were like, all right, what can we do next? And that time, Shiva merged Parvati into himself and made himself half masculine, half feminine, half male, half female. This devotee didn't give up. He wanted to make his rounds only around Shiva. So he turned himself into a bee. And so he went around only the right leg, which was the leg that Shiva was around. And they were like, wow, this devotee won't stop at anything. So they're like, all right, what can we do now? Shiva got in the yoga position and sat cross-legged on the ground. And the devotee had no choice and had to go around both of them. And so that's kind of, there is a big story about how Shiva is half masculine, half feminine. There will be a lot of photos, if you ever see photos of Shiva, that he's half male, half female, because he is all encompassing. Because he has taught us the art of yoga. And yoga is essentially the union. It's the union of the masculine and the feminine. It's the transcendence of the dimension that we know within our physical bodies. It's escaping, not escaping. It's escaping is a lower side of Pisces, I just want to say. So we are not trying to escape. We're just trying to flow into the source energy. And so it's recognizing that it's all one. We're all the same, that we are not individuals. We are all part of this infinite cosmos. And yes, all right. I have more to say. Give me a second. I'm going to consult my notes. All right. So yoga also, it's very interesting to me how recently yoga has like become much more as an exercise as compared to a devotional prayer kind of thing, because yoga at its root, the whole system of yoga is basically based on not missing either the masculine nor the feminine. It's in combining the masculine and the feminine, and it is the dimension which is beyond all dimensions. And so it's something that I was studying yesterday too. They said that Shiva is a system and a method to use your own yoga is a system and a method to use your own existing system as a ladder to the divine. And so that's why you notice that a lot of times in yoga, we have a lot of spinal flexes and moving our spine and like trying to sit straight. And everything we do is with a straight back, because it's creating a ladder to reach dimensions other than the one that we are like physically in. Now that takes me to the union and masculine and feminine energies, and really how important it is to combine the two. Because imagine this, imagine Shiva as the man and as a witness without the creative power, or without Shakti that creates or brings life or anything. What is he going to witness? Or he's going to keep witnessing, and then what? Right? Or imagine doing without waiting to receive. Like imagine if Shiva, instead of sitting there on the mountain, was like, no, I need to go find enlightenment, I need to go find what's good for me. No, he was like sitting there completely receptive, being like, when the time is right, my third eye is going to open. When the time is right, I'm going to become enlightened. But he wasn't like, I need to be enlightened right now. And sometimes we humans, we're kind of like that. We're like, we want quick fixes, we want things now. That's an imbalance of the masculine and feminine, as we already can tell. And then there is also the idea of committing, which is masculine, versus devoting, which is another Pisces theme. Like instead of committing ourselves, I feel like I hear the word overcommit so much. Instead of overcommitting, why don't we instead surrender into the devotion? Why don't we instead surrender into the devotion of, if you don't want to surrender to the devotion of God, surrender to the devotion of the cycle of the cosmos, of the way everything is going. It's just a matter of dissolving into the oneness of everything, dissolving into source, dissolving into the nothingness, because Shiva is also known as that which is not. And so how do you perceive that which is not, right? So yeah, the last thing I kind of want to share is something I learned from Sadhguru, who is a guru, an Indian guru. And he shared how inclusiveness happens because we obliterate the boundaries of our individual nature. And that's what Pisces invites us to do. Pisces surrenders. Pisces is the devotional one. Pisces is a feminine sign. So Pisces creates, receives, slows down. And imagine this, how ironic that the day that Shiva transcended all illusion, the day that his third eye opened, the day that he became still as the mountain, this year is the exact same day as the sun conjuncts Neptune. Like, to me, that's not a coincidence. Like, clearly considering everything that's happened this year, the way it just has meant to happen. but there is an opportunity there, and the opportunity is to transcend the illusions that are brought to us by this world, which there are a lot. I mean, I think we all know there are a lot. And doing this work, it only shows us it more, and it only triggers us more, and it only makes us look further inward more. But that's the beauty. It's that we're looking inward rather than bypassing it, rather than running away. And so one of the ways we do this is through mantra meditation. Princess will share more about it, but I also want to say how. At one of our circles, I mentioned that for mantra meditation, you don't necessarily need to understand what's being said. You kind of just uh, join frequencies with the frequency of sound of the meditation, kind of, if that makes sense. But what I learned is that we are joining the frequency, but we're not trying to sing the mantra, but instead we're trying to become the mantra. We're trying to become this state. And so the mantra we're going to be singing is Om Namah Shivaya, Hari Om Namah Shivaya, as Princess will share more. But knowing now who Shiva is, what Shiva symbolizes, what Shiva stands for, that's what we put in our mind, about being alert about that instead of allowing our mind as we're chanting to kind of dull down, because it's about alertness while you're witnessing rather than witnessing and just being a witness from the back and not being a main player in your story. All right, Princess.
Thank you, Karina. The beautiful and funny love story of Shiva and Parvati. That I was picturing in my head the dancing Shiva. I guess that's the leg going sideways. Um, yeah, so we're gonna go ahead with the mantra and the mudra. Karina also mentioned surrender, right? So in this practice, I would like to invite you to just surrender. Surrendering doesn't mean we are bitter because we can't do anything about it, right? Surrendering means we are open to letting go so that we can let everything flow. And I forgot to do the gratitude journal earlier, and I would like to do it now before we go into the mantra so that we can really embody and hold space for the people that we are thankful for, the whole year that we have been in this lifestyle, virtual lifestyle. So we learned the past full moon circle in Virgo that Pisces, because the sun was in Pisces already, that Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac, right? So it is just timely that we leave everything behind. But also, I would like to celebrate and remember the ones who really made it worthwhile, the ones who really helped us get here. I did my gratitude journal the other day and I named it 20 and me, not 20 and one, but 20 and me. So if you can, I know you have a lot of people to thank, but if you can just go ahead and start putting your name first on top, and then go ahead with the 20 people that you really think and value and you want to hold in your heart right now before we do this mantra. Karina mentioned that today is a good day to ascend, right? Because the pull to the higher realms or the higher dimension is just strong and bright. And so we want to go there to that light, but together with the people that we are really grateful for, who I know this is to me, it's already heavy because it was a crazy year. And okay, if you don't have 20, then put in there another the names of the people that have also hurt you and that you want to let go and say thank you for the lesson, thank you for making me as strong as I am right now, thank you. So yes, your name and then 20 people. All right. I think we have a few names in there already. We have a whole month or whole life to give thanks and gratitude to these people that we hold dearly in our hearts. So, um, my suggestion is for the next few days, you can go ahead and write them a beautiful letter, maybe send them a beautiful gift or an email, or however you can express your gratitude. You can also post IG stories, since that's our way of communication nowadays, right? Especially if they have small businesses, or they're doing the work as we are all doing here. Please do give it back to them. And with that, holding a space for everyone that we are grateful for, I'd like you to sit in a comfortable, but really, like what Karina said, straight spine. We're gonna do the Shiva Om Namah Shivaya mantra. You see my screen? Okay. All right. So just sitting in a comfortable cross-legged position, or you can also do lotus, or however you want to do your seated position, and keep the spine straight, shoulders up and down. Extend your hand out and forward. And before you place your hands on top of your knees, we do the Gyan Mudra. What happened? All right. This is a mudra for generating knowledge and wisdom and expansion. So the tip of your thumb and your index finger, they touch each other. And then we extend the hand all the way down. It is not too relaxed, but it's not too stiff, just comfortable enough to be extending outward. And while we chant, you bring your awareness in the space in between your eyebrows, or we call it the third eye. Just keep your attention there. You can go ahead and chant the mantra Hari Om Namah Shivaya. And I'm going to play a song that we can sing with together. But if it doesn't resonate with you, if you don't want to do the chanting, you can just bathe with the sound and the vibration of the music, and just, again, bring your awareness to the space between the eyebrows and just chant the mantra in your mind and just go with the flow. But keeping an attention and awareness that is so present and so mindful. You may now begin with the mudra, with the Gyan Mudra. sitting straight, relaxing the jaw so you're not tensing your jaw and your neck. We breathe in together through the nose, out through the mouth, breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth, breathing in and out. And we chant Om 3 times. Om. Om. Om.
Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om, Namah Shivaya. 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 Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om, Namah 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 Shivaya. 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 Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om, Namah Shivaya. Jai Shri Moji. Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om, Namah Shivaya. Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om, Namah Shivaya. Jai Shri Moji. Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om, Namah Shivaya. 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 Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om, Namah Shivaya. Shivaya. Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om. Namah Shivaya. Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om. Namah Shivaya. 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 Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om. Namah 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 Shivaya. 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 Shivaya.
Ravana.
Shivaya.
Arunachala Shiva.
Hari Om, Hari Om. Namah Shivaya. Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om. Namah Shivaya. Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om.
Namah Shivaya. Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om. Namah Shivaya.
Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om.
Namah Shivaya. Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om. Namah Shivaya. Hallelujah. Shivaya. Shivaya. Shivaya.
Shivaya. Shivaya. Shivaya. Shivaya. Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om. Namah 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 Shivaya.
Om Shri Sadguru Ramana ki. Papa Ji ki. Shri Buddha ki. Shri Yogi Rama Surat Kumar ki. Shri Christ ki. Shri Anandamayi Ma ki. Sahaja ki.
Keeping the awareness inside your heart, breathing in, Sealing the light inside of you, holding that breath in. Release, exhale, sending light to everyone. Placing the hands together in the front of the heart center. Taking another breath in. Sealing the light, becoming timeless. Exhale, release. Slowly opening the eyes, coming back. Hari Om Namah Shivaya. I forgot to tell you what it means. It's salutations to the auspicious one, but I think Karina already said that right. Shiva is actually nothing and no one, and so it is actually the one inside us. And so when we keep chanting mantras, we actually dive deep inside ourselves and we meet that person inside us, and that is the true us. And let's move on with what is happening with Pisces and what are the ups and the downs with becoming too fishy.
Hello, everyone. We're back on the ground. Before I begin, I want to opt in and check with you guys because we're about to go into the depths of Pisces. Can you give me a number if you were to grade yourself? How deep are you willing to go into like the esoteric and the myth? And like, yeah, if one is, well, one is null, 10 is the extreme. So we asked this last circle if you were to grade yourself in your level of spirituality. Princess, that was your question, yeah? So can you give me a number on the chat? Your vibe attracts your tribe. Hello, tribe. I love you. Okay. So we started with a breath. I want to actually share with you a screenshot from this app that I have called Architecture of Radio. So essentially what it does is it shows you the waves and frequencies that are floating around us everywhere you go. So can you see my screen? Thumbs up. So I was just lying on my bed last night, literally here, and I was just doing that. I could see cell towers, you know, I could see satellites. So those are the guys that are, you know, controlling our GPS and our internet, and that's why we can do this thing, y'all. That's why we can gather this digital age. And so that's what we did, right? We used our voice to create vibrations from our sound and from our word, to invoke, to be in reverence, to be in prayer, to be in this certain level of state that we want to be or we want to go. So we don't always see it. We don't see it. We can't touch it. We can't feel it, like not with our senses, not with our 3D senses, but it's there. It's doing all these things and it's making all these things work for us. So with that, let me start with a story because it's the Pisces new moon, right? So in the glyph of Pisces, they're the two fishes. They're swimming away from each other, but they're tied to each other with a cord. And so the ancient Greeks have this story, right? So the myth of it is, it's Aphrodite, Venus, and her son, Eros or Cupid. And there's this big storm. So for them to, who's a Titan, so for them to escape that storm, Titan, they turned into fishes. But they tied each other, like they tied themselves to each other so that they wouldn't lose each other through the current. Um, so what's that? That's love and Eros, Cupid. And they survived. The gods were so enamored. They were so how do you call this? They were in awe that there's this kind of love of a mother and child, that they do whatever they can. They tied each other so that they wouldn't lose each other through the tides. And so that's Pisces for you. And Aphrodite, Venus, that's love. And her sun is desire. Do you know the difference between love and desire? That's also Pisces for you. I also want to bring in, because Karina mentioned Pisces is the dissolution, right? I want to bring in the story of creation. So imagine one circle, split, or like a cell, how cells reproduce. It splits each other into two, so it's one, creating a mirror of itself. And when it does, in the middle of it, you know the symbol for Christ? How to draw this? It's a small thing. That symbol for Christ, the parang fish, because it's two circles intersecting in the middle. You see the one in the middle? It's actually called Vesica Pisces. So you'll see this everywhere in the flower of life. So there's two circles intersecting, and the intersection in the middle. That's Vesica Pisces. That's the mirror of the creator. It's the creator making an image of itself so that he can appreciate it. And so that's what Christ is, the Messiah, the light, the mirror, the sun of the one, of the source, right? If you're familiar with this quote, we are not, ano yun? We are not drops in the ocean. We are the entire ocean in a drop. The same way the quote that we shared last time. You are the universe in ecstatic motion. Each and every one of us, we are individual expressions of the divine. Haha! What does that feel? Because we have religion, right? That feeling of, is it blasphemous to believe that we have this divine in us? But that's Pisces. That's what the story of Pisces is. Pisces is ruled by, okay, so that's Pisces, the fish, the lovers. Pisces is ruled by Jupiter. And the planet Jupiter, it means expansion. Jupiter also rules Sagittarius. So if Sagittarius is the day sign that Jupiter rules, Pisces is the night sign. So this is the nocturnal. You can't see anything at night. So it's like with Pisces, when you're super under the deep depths, you can't see. It's like, it's really misty. You can't see where you're going. It's dark. It's the unseen. It's the subconscious. It's the shadow. But I want to reframe that too, because a lot of astrologers really give this negative connotation to Pisces in the 12th house. You know, it's the most difficult house in the zodiac. It's the most difficult sign of the zodiac because it's the dissolution and disillusionment. That the same, dissolve and disillusioned. It's also the house of your undoing, like 12th house, the house that Pisces rules. They call it the house of the undoing because it's the house of hospitals. But it's this beautiful house of transition. It's the last sign of the zodiac. It's ruled by Neptune. And so the traditional ruler of Pisces is Jupiter. The modern ruler of Pisces is Neptune, and Neptune is the lord of the sea. Neptune's trident, so that's like the trident. It's the cross of matter with the crescent of spirit. And what is this Neptune, right? The exercise that we did with the breathing and connecting to the source, like having that sort of vibration so that we're calling in this source energy and being in that level. That's like the circle of spirit beaming up. But remember, there's still that cross of matter, and who is the matter. You matter. We are the matter because we are here on Earth. This is Earth astrology, what we're doing. And what we're forgetting is because we're looking up and we're understanding this, like all these archetypes in astrology in our heads, we're forgetting that they're alive in us. So what would that feel to embody love and desire and be okay for you to feel them both? Right? So I made notes because this Neptune, I swear, downloads today were like, I want to tell you everything, but there's not much time. But what is time? We'll get there in a while. Okay, so John 1, verse 1. Did I say that right? In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God. Did I say that right, Princess? And the Word is God. Think of it as Shiva, Pisces, the nothingness. I studied philosophy in college, so the one that really, stayed with me is this teleological argument around God, that God couldn't come from nothing. Nothing can't come from nothing. So if there's something, then obviously there's this grand designer. So that grand designer is God. But really? So if we were created by God and we're the mirror image of God, can we see? How can we complete that sentence? Like, what kind of version of sentences can we allow ourselves to say? Would it be empowering to say that, I am God? Is that so egotistical? Will you allow this period to surrender to the mystical? Because what is God and who is God? Is that something that you can explain with words and structures that we're made of so that we could understand each other and put each other in boxes and things like language and time and race and gender and religion? Like, what is love? Can you explain love? Or can you feel it in your body if I ask you? Like, do you remember your first kiss? And that's Pisces. That's surrendering to the mystical of it, because you're allowed to dream. You're allowed to remember that you have soul. I am digressing, but let me bring you back. So Neptune, right? The Lord of the sea. And the sea unites because everything dissolves in the sea. Or like, think of this, like in our globe, we are small islands, but we are connected by a super massive body of water. But we decided for geography, we're gonna name them based on countries and like put imaginary lines, and voila, these are territories and boundaries and structures. And remember, we talked about January, February. Pluto is still in Capricorn and will stay in Capricorn until 2024. And Pluto is transformation and rebirth in Capricorn, an earth sign that also rules structures and institutions and governments. And you get the idea. But what will that mean for those who are not ready for change? So I want to bring up again, we have Saturn and Uranus squaring each other for the whole of the year. And what is the energetics of that? Saturn does not want change. Saturn just wants to stay and control and be here and be structured and be disciplined. But Uranus in Taurus, in an earth sign, Uranus wants to innovate, wants to think of the earth, think of ways that we can actually be more creative, be more collaborative, be more inclusive, be more fair and equal. So that's happening too. Yeah. Let me bring that also to Neptune. In the tarot is the Hanged Man. I'm seeing people here who do tarot and understand tarot, and if you resonate with the meaning of like what that represents, what the Hanged Man represents for Neptune. So he's lying upside down, right? He's lying upside down, but his left leg is tied to like the post where he's being hanged, but he's super relaxed because he's trusting and surrendering. And if you'll notice, it's his left foot. And the left foot, they call it the yin side, the feminine side, the receiving side. So the surrendering side. What does that mean? That the feminine is surrendering. Is that bad or good? And the masculine is the giving. Always ba? But remember, we're talking about the union and the balance. The Heros Gamos, the union of like the masculine and the feminine, the anima and the animus. The mantra for Pisces is I believe. Can you believe and trust and surrender, even if you can't see, even if logic defies it, even if structures and institutions, don't want you to buy it. Ano ba? I'm rapping talaga, Karina. No, but for real, that question is for real. Can you allow yourself to dream and have, these crazy fantasies? Because Uranus, so the planet that rules disruption and innovation and change, it's still going to be in Taurus until 2026. That's a long time. So this inside joke that I have with Princess and Karina, it's not 2021. It's 2020 and 1. And the next year it's 2020 and 2 and 3 and 4, because we have all these major outside like collective planets that will stay in their signs and disrupt the status quo. But can we again surrender to the change, because some things are really way past their time? So that's another question. So we were practicing breathing. Can you practice again with me? Sabay-sabay tayo. Can you take an inhale? Hold it, and then exhale. The breath. Diba, the movement, it's in and down. Ano yung nag-expand when you inhaled? Ulo nyo ba? Your nose? What expanded? Your heart? Your belly? It went in and down. And when we exhale, it goes up and out. So I'm saying that because it's a spiral, it's circular, it's rhythmic. If Pisces is the in-breath, if we really want change and we're ready for change, we start within. It starts with the breath. We go in first, we go down deep into our subconscious and, do this dreaming and shadow work and like this, the mystical, making space for the mystical. Remember, we talked about that also last circle. Am I seeing a new face? Yeah, we talked about this the last circle. So making space, like grounding the mystical, embodying it, and then making space in the practical. This whole season, like this whole Pisces season, is super important that we do this, that we surrender and let go of everything that no longer serves, because we have such a potent gift. And I'm going to tell you the astrology of the times. We have Sun conjunct Neptune. And Karina shared about that earlier. I want to talk about Venus too. Remember, Venus in the myth, it's Venus and Cupid, right? It's love and desire. They're the fish. The high side of this can be the Messiah, the mystic, the messenger, the light. Of course, the dark side of it, I mean, everything naman has a light and a dark side, but the dark side can be an addiction, addictive behavior, like I'm so sensitive, I'm feeling the weight of the world and the pain of the world, but am I feeling the pain inside me? And am I healing that pain, or am I just projecting this pain as though, I am just so healed? And this pain is not my pain. I'm just absorbing everything in the ether because there's so much healing and death going on. But that's true. There's so much loss. There's so much grief. But there's also so much possibilities. And we mentioned that last time. Can we allow and surrender more to the possibility than, grovel on the loss? or just find the balance and be both. Be both and. Remember, we can be both and. We are not binary. We are multidimensional beings. That's what this season is teaching us. That we can hold space for many different emotions because we are gifted by the light of, Venus and the sun, all and Neptune, all coming together in Pisces to hold our hands as we heal individually, because Pachamama is calling that Kundalini up, our Shushumna, so that we can ascend. But I'm not saying we're going to be, lights, specks of lights, and then we're going to go up. That's what happened on 1962. February of 1962, we had a stellium, like all the bunch of planets in Aquarius. But at that time, it was squaring Neptune. What does that mean? People just got disillusioned and copped out. Yes, love and light, but bye. I'm gonna escape and just sing Kumbaya here because I can't take your negative vibes. But now we have this opportunity again. Because in January, Neptune squared the nodes of fate. And it's going to square the nodes of fate for the rest of this year. What does the nodes of fate represent? The South Node, these are just points in the sky. The South Node is what we collectively want to leave behind. So the South Node is in Sagittarius. The dark side of Sagittarius is it's dogmatic. It's too strict. Like, if this is your belief, this is your only belief. Righteous piousness. But because Sagittarius also rules religion and philosophy and higher learning and truth. So like, just think of the dark side or the low side of that. And the opposite of Sagittarius, Gemini, where Mercury is, by the way, is open to a multiplicity of perspectives. So this is what we're doing here. This is so very Mars in Gemini. We are driving change, Uranus, as we communicate and socialize in a digital space, Aquarius, where Jupiter and Saturn are. Are you still with me? Basically, anytime planets square the nodes, we come at a choice point, and we are there. Do we cling to what's safe, what's known, what's comfortable, or are we open to change and revolutionize the way we live, the way we treat each other, the way we treat the planet? Are we willing to do the work of going within first, going in and then down into the belly of the beast, where a lot of people don't want to get in because they don't want to find, whatever it is, the shadows, or like whatever, like the icky, the stinky dog. But there's no way out but through. I like this quote from Carl Jung. Did I say Jung? Jung. There is no coming to consciousness without pain. People will do anything, no matter how absurd, in order to avoid facing their own soul. One does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. And that's what Pisces and Venus in Pisces and all the planets right now, the configurations, which, by the way, we will share in the workbook in detail, the transits and the dates. But we're just giving you, the flavor and the energetic themes so as not to overwhelm. Okay. Kaya pa? Meron pang last. Why is it? Yes, again, next time na lang to. Sa Aries na lang to sa Aries equinox. So we're not gathering on the full moon so that we can make space for our relaunch come spring. because again, it's the astrological new year. But don't you think it's weird why we're seasonally beginning the year, or yeah, new year na naman, on March? Or maybe the question is, how come the first month or the first day of our year is pa-ending ng season? Paano ka mag-new year nang may nag-ending? Does anyone wonder? And why is it the astrological new year come March 21? It's the vernal equinox. What does that mean? We only have 2 periods in a year where the sun is rising exactly due east. And in that point, that's an intersection between the celestial equator. So just imagine the Earth's equator expanding to space, and the ecliptic. The imaginary line, that's the apparent movement of the planets in the sky. So 2 times lang yan, March, which is equinox, equal day night, and September, Libra. Kaya Libra is the balance and the scales, diba? So what I'm trying to get at here is there are patterns, like Neptune's trident. It can represent birth, being, and then death. So there's being, becoming, and then passing. Past, present, future. Mother, maiden, crow. Things are born and then things pass. It's a cycle. And there are seasons. But we're forgetting this because we're putting like our calendar. We start the year January 1. Seasonally, that's winter. So there are some things that are ending or some places that are dead, but we're because there's this year that was defined and months as defined, our productivity is also defined. Can we defy that? Can we give ourselves time and space to dream and do that? I'm closing this with a last story. So we talked about Aphrodite and Cupid, but we're forgetting a character. Cupid married Psyche, and Psyche is soul. So if there's a union of if you can give space for your soul to speak and your deep soul desires to come forth from your heart and your art, what would it look like? What would the world look like? Can we be the light? Yeah, I want to end there. Thank you for holding space for my outpouring of the downloads that I got today.
Thank you, Thea. Surrender. What part of your life are you having a hard time surrendering? Or we can also do it the other way around. Is surrendering, does it mean that you're just letting go and like, I'm just gonna be a fish here and wait until this whole thing is over? I think what I'm getting from Thea is it has to be a balance, right? Of surrendering, but also when, like the fish, when to go up and when to go down. And so, yeah, what part of our lives are we having a hard time surrendering? And when we surrender, when do we say, okay, I've surrendered, now when is the time to go? I find it interesting also that Pisces is ruled by rules the feet and the toes and the lymphatic system, because the fish is not supposed to have feet, right? It's not supposed to go anywhere. But that's just the physical aspect of the fish. But what happens when you have a fish in your hand? Where does it go? It slips, right? And so we just have to hold it well enough, but not too tight, not too loose, so that it won't go, and we hold it um, inside our heart. And so we surrender by anchoring our soul through getting to know our feet and our lymphatic system. So I'd like you to stand right now. The lymphatic system doesn't, it cannot move on its own. It doesn't have a pump like the heart that pumps blood through the veins and the arteries. The lymph needs help. So we're going to help it circulate by actually doing inversion. So it goes from the neck down to the heart and from the feet all the way up. So from here, let's just bring, okay, sorry. Bring your hands together all the way up. I'm gonna just kneel. And then fold all the way forward. Bring your head towards the ground. Whoa. And then feeling the back of the legs, really rooting down with the feet, no? And then feeling the energy go up, up, up. Feeling the back of the legs, the thighs, and the hamstrings. And then fold all the way down, release the head down and the hands to the floor. Exhale. We're gonna stay here for a few breaths. So we're really helping the lymphatic system to circulate and bring the flow back to the heart. Breathing in and out. Release. You may feel tension in the back of the legs. It's also part of surrendering. You can exhale as much as you want. Everyone's muted, so you can also just do a big exhale. Inhale, gaze up, and then just slowly bring yourself all the way back up to standing. Okay, so that's just a quick exercise. Now let's go back to seated. You can do that actually it's good to help the lymphatic circulation during the morning, because when we do this, we actually wake up our body. So if you've heard of dry brushing, it's good to stimulate the lymphatic system. So we start by the feet, and then so all the lymphatic nerves nodes are in the crease, so it's in the back of the knee. And also, so because they meet in these points. I'm gonna share pala this. There it is. You see it? So this is the lymphatic system. You see those tiny little beads? Those are the lymph nodes, and they're usually, the big ones are at the back of the knees, the groins. There's a lot in the belly, and then the back, inside the elbow, and then to the clavicle bones, and then from the side of the neck towards the clavicle bone, and then to the heart. So that's what we're going to do today, but we're going to start by doing a little feet massage. If you have your oil with you, any body oil is good. I think Mata Philippines has partnered with Rela for the month of March. And we have our beautiful, where's my oil? Aphrodite. So any oil is good. You want to make sure that it's because this, it absorbs, right? The skin absorbs whatever we put in our body. So you want to make sure that it's natural. Also, a nice scent would be good just to make sure that we are able to relax. So go ahead and just place an oil to your feet. Start with one side. And as we all know, like in reflexology, there's a lot of points in the sole of our feet and also in our hands that are connected to our organs. So let's start by stimulating the top of the toes. These are the points towards the brain and the head. And then the balls of the feet. Balls of the feet is the heart. Just go ahead and press. And it's also a very relaxing way of ending your day. So if you have a hard time letting go of your work, especially if you're doing work from home, have a little ritual at night before going to bed that you actually just do a short foot massage, and it will help your nervous system to calm down. Of course, you can play music as well. All right, now let's go to the other side of the feet. I'm on my right now. So placing an oil, starting with the tip of the toes. Some people would even have like a stick, no, to press on those pressure points. Yes. And then the balls of the feet again. All right. Now, if you have socks with you right now, you can just go ahead and cover your feet so that we'll leave the oil to get absorbed by our skin. Oops. And if you're comfortable with laying down, you can go ahead and lay down, or you can also just stay in a seated position. And we're just going to go through the lymph nodes that I mentioned earlier. So we just massaged our feet, so that's good. We're going to go start from the bottom. So we're going to go at the back of the knee. So here, you can do this seated or laying down. And then from here, from the back of the knee, I'm just going to show everything before I put on some music, and you can do it yourself. And then from there, we do the groin. So there's many here in this part, because this part we don't really notice, right? Like when we work out or even when we walk or do things, we don't really put a lot of attention to that place. And so it's good to actually do that when you're taking a shower or before going to sleep, and just really with a circular motion and a gentle pressure, just press against those areas. And then from there, the back of the hips, the bum, and then all the way to the front. The belly has a lot of lymph nodes also. So you want to gently press. And if you're having some digestive issues, you can press towards the left and pressing it down. And then from there, we're here at the back of the inner wrist. There's many here also. And then the inside of the elbow, the crease, all the way down to the up armpit. So there's a lot there. If you actually get a lymphatic drainage massage, they're gonna press a lot in these areas. And then, well, I'm just gonna wipe. And then we go to the neck. So the sides of the neck here, there's many nodes there also. Sometimes like you can feel that there's tiny little balls, diba? I think if you remember when you were young, you'd go to the doctor and the first thing they check is your neck, right? To see if there's some balls in there, because that also reflects if your circulation is working well. And then there's the tonsils there also because they get swollen. What happens is if the lymphatic system is not properly circulated and drained, we retain a lot of water. That's why there's inflammation happening. Also, we like for the face, we get puffy eyes and eye bags. There's water retention in the belly. And so, yeah, it would be especially for women, right? Because we tend to hold more water in our body. It's a good practice to do it in the morning or in the evening. So, um, enjoy your little massage session, seated or laying down. I will play something. Oh, it's not really relaxing. So go ahead and press on those areas where the lymph nodes are seated. If this is not okay with you, you can also just go to the wall and bring your feet up against the wall, and that will bring in the flow towards the belly and up towards the heart. I'm gonna do my little massage. If you feel like there's a bit of tightness in a certain area, you can spend more time in that area and just gently press on it. And if you're now here in your upper body, there's also a lot underneath the collarbone. So you want to press and open that channel towards the heart. And then if you're in the chest area, you want to move it into the direction going inwards towards the center. So the side of the armpit, side of the ribs. On top of the heart. The chest, the center of the chest. Other side. Make sure that you're also mindfully breathing. All right, now we're gonna go to the neck, the side of the neck, underneath the tip of the ear. Go ahead and press. Circular movement. Going down towards the side of the neck. You can also do a little bit in the back of the neck. All the way down to the end of the cervical spine. And then back to the front of the neck. Slowly and gently. All right. You can spend more time doing this on your own, but for tonight, we're just showing you guys how it is to help your lymphatic system circulate. How was that? Make sure that after, or if you have water with you right now, you go ahead and drink some water, and you might have some few trips to the bathroom because you're stimulating your lymphatic system, right? And that's why it's good to do this in the morning, actually before you shower, because you're gonna get more energy and you're also going to flush out some toxins. In the evening, I recommend that you just do the feet against the floor. So we bring back the circulation towards the heart. So that's about it for me. Yeah, anything you want to add, Thea, before we do our sharing circle? I want to do another Shiva mantra after this. You guys are free to stay and join. It's just going to be another 10 minutes. But if not, we'll also include both the one that we practiced earlier and then this one that we're going to do before we close. So, yeah, Thea, Karina.
For me, I just want to share that. So the stuff I didn't share about Shiva, a lot of the stuff that Thea spoke about, that's also Shiva. And Shiva is also known as the soul, our soul. And so it's just Shiva is everything and nothing. Shiva also has a trident, so also like Neptune, which is pretty amazing because that Neptune Sun conjunction plus Shiva plus all this magicness. Yeah, that's all I have.
Yeah, we actually do wanna open. Of course, there's so much to see, and as mentioned, but we're conscious of time. What is this structured time? But so we'll share the dates on. It's gonna be on the workbook. I wanna bring up again that on March 21 we're gonna have the spring equinox. So that's the new year. So of course you're going to have the workbook with you to go through the exercises. Then the new moon is going to exact on the 13th at 6 p.m. So you'll get your workbooks tomorrow or on Saturday. So you can go through the actual planetary transits and then their themes, and the journal prompts are going to be there. Feel free to use the exercises from Princess to like tap parts in your body when you're going through the journal prompts, because again, the objective of these journal prompts is to do our shadow work, right? To go within, and we use the breath. That's it for me.
Anybody wants to share something? What was I gonna say? Yeah.
Interesting, because the cups talks about the water element, and Pisces is a water, and the Queen of Cups is very nurturing and intuitive and in tune with her feelings and creative and fertile and all these magical, like womanly, feminine, flowy feels. Queen of Cups. Okay. And then I got double mission, which is serve the world by being you. And so you're serving the world just by going inward, learning who you are, serving your soul. You're serving the world. Okay, you guys, are we serious right now? Koi spirit. And it's the Pisces new moon, and Pisces is the fish, and we have the koi. And this says there is always enough. And then I also got the turkey spirit. So all of these fell out of the deck. I usually don't pick them out, they just fall. And so, yeah, we have the turkey spirit and we have the koi spirit. The koi spirit says there is always enough. And the turkey spirit says give with gratitude and with grace. And they flow together beautifully. And so tying it all together, I guess I want to say, in flowing in your feminine power, but not bypassing the need for the masculine energy, and being yourself and coming back to your soul and doing these breath works and things that connect us back to ourself, to soul, to our soul, to source, to the oneness of everything. That's what helps us realize that there is always enough. And that's what helps us give with gratitude and with grace. And that's so beautiful because Princess had us do a gratitude journal. And so this is like the theme of everything we've done today. So thank you, cards, and thank you guys, because the energy that you guys bring always drop out freaking amazing cards to summarize everything that we talked about. That is all for me.